Alright, we're getting ready to run through an AC voltage measurement test on this Keithley 179. Here's the thing though, whereas I have a DC voltage reference and I'm able to easily test DC voltages, and I have purchased precision resistors that accurately allow me to test the resistance capabilities. An AC voltage standard is still out of my reach, so although I'm looking for one, about the best thing I can come up with to convince you that I am able to read voltage properly with this is to compare it to my other voltmeters that I use on my bench regularly. Also, and I would state, in the case of this Keithley, although I calibrated for resistance and I was able to calibrate for DC, I did not touch the AC calibration on this unit because I don't have a standard, and I know my limitations. And that goes for my my desktop unit that I have here too. I have a Keithley 177 that I keep on my desk, and my Radio Shack little 3-digit unit. But if the three of them are able to read properly within the same realm, within a reasonable realm, then I think I could logically convince you that this unit is working properly. Whether or not it is 100% within calibration and all that, well, that might be a question, but since I didn't calibrate either unit, if I'm getting a really close agreement, I think we might even be able to assume that. But let's give it a go and see how she does. Right at the moment, I am feeding a signal in from a Raycal 20 megahertz sweep generator, and we're reading 100 hertz and roughly 10 volts. On my 177 I'm reading 9.976, and on my 179 it's 9.977. Okay, the Radio Shack is reading 9.93. I think you're going to find that as we progress through the testing, you'll see that the Radio Shack always reads a little bit low. No surprise, but at least it's in the realm. All right, we're going to go ahead and change the voltage. We'll bring her down to roughly a volt. We are at the moment reading 1.003 on the 177, 1.003 or 4 on the 179, and 0.999 or 1. So we're within 3 to 4 millivolts on all three units, and the 177 and the 179 are in very, very close agreement to within a millivolt. This is at 100 hertz. All right, we're going to turn the frequency up. All right, we are now reading 1000 hertz, and at 1000 hertz, we've got 1.002 on the 177, 1002 on the 179, and 1002 on the Radio Shack. Surprise, surprise. All right, let's go ahead and turn the voltage up. All right, we've got 9.967 on the 177, 9.968 or 9 little variance on the 179, 9.95 on the Radio Shack. All right, we just kicked ourselves up to 10,000 hertz, which is actually the specification limit for the Keithley. We're getting 9.942, 1 or 2 volts on the 177, 9.941 on the 179. Very close agreement there. And 9.93 on the Radio Shack. I'm going to go ahead and try one more decade just to see what happens, but that is definitely out of range spec-wise. We're now reading a 100 kilohertz signal. And let's just see that here. I don't know if you can make out 100 kilohertz there or not. It's times 10K, and we have 10. So 10 times 10, 100 kilohertz. And we right now are reading 9.643 on the 177, 9.319 on the 179, and we've gone up to 10.3 on the Radio Shack. That's odd. Interesting, but odd. But at any rate, the two Keithleys are within a third of a volt at this voltage level, and it is 10 times higher in range than it's actually meant to do. I'm going to go ahead and turn down the voltage. We are reading 1.012 on the 177 and 0.980 on the 179. Let's go ahead and all right, now we are at the 10 kilohertz again, and we are reading exactly the same on both of the Keithleys. We got the 177 is reading 0.99 to 1, 179 is reading 0.999 to 1. Radio Shack is 0.959. So on the 20 volt scale, we are reading accurately. We are reading the same on both of these meters, which are utilizing their AC calibration as received at the time I bought them, which would take them back to the last time they were calibrated, and I don't know when that was, but it's not my calibration, it is somebody else's, and they are in close agreement. So I'm going to use that logic to convince you that we are reading properly on the AC scale. This is on the 20 volt scale. We're going to do a quick check on the 2 volt scale. Alright, let's take her up to 1. Close as I can get it. Overshot. Yeah, we'll take her there. All right, I am reading 1.0009 or 10 on the 177. This is at a 10 kilohertz. This is at the upper end of the range on the 2 volt range. Now my Keithley 177 has a whole nother decade of reading capability. Does not appear to be true. They both are reading the same. All right. 1.0009 on the 177, 1.0014 on the 179. So approximately 0.4 millivolts difference, maybe 0.5 millivolts different. It's not millivolt. 0.5 millivolts, yeah, that'd be right. So half of a millivolt different in AC at this end of the range. We're going to go ahead and turn her down in frequency. We're now reading 1,000 hertz, and 177 is reading 1.003, 179 is 1.004, so we're within a millivolt. The Radio Shack is 1.004. And then we'll go down one more range. We're back into the 100 hertz range. And we have the 177 reading 1.003.5 or 6. And the 179 is reading 1.004, 6 or 7. So here we would say about a millivolt difference, a little less than that, maybe 0.8 millivolts difference. So 0.8 of a millivolt different at 100 hertz. They're tracking very well together. Let's go ahead and try it at the 200 millivolt range. And at 200 millivolts, right now I've turned my voltage down a decade up there, so we're reading 98.58 on the 177. We're reading 98.75 on the 179. And this is millivolts now, so we are reading approximately 0.2 of a millivolt different on 2 meters. And the Radio Shack is reading 98.3 or 4, and that would put it maybe 0.3 different, 0.3 millivolts. So we are within 0.3 millivolts of agreement on all three, and within about 0.2 on the 2 Keithleys. Let's go ahead and turn the voltage, or excuse me, the frequency up. We're now reading 1000 hertz. Got 98.47 on the 177. Got 98.65. About 0.2 a difference still. And about 97.9 on the Radio Shack. Wish I could calibrate that Radio Shack. It's beginning to bother me. Alright, we are reading at the 10 kilohertz frequency. I'm reading 98.18 on the 177. I'm reading 98.35 on the 179. And my Radio Shack has suddenly dipped to 60 millivolts. So it doesn't like the low millivolt range at this frequency. And then at the 1000 volt range, I got 10.5 or 6. Let's say 5. And I've got 10.7 on the 179, maybe 0.6. So it's within 1 or 2 tenths of a volt at this range. Let's see, 2. And the Radio Shack is now reading 995. So, gist of it is, I wouldn't want to try and do exacting work with my Radio Shack, but my 2 bench multimeters, the Keithleys, are both responding very closely to one another in AC. All right, let's take a look at the current capabilities.